Hello and welcome to Family Gamer TV. We are looking at Skylanders Super Chargers on the iPad Pro with its A9 chip. We wanted to see how this version of the game compared to the other iPad versions. So we've got the top right, that iPad Pro, top left, iPad Air 2 on its A8 chip, bottom right, iPad Mini 2 on its A7, and all the way back down to the little old iPad 3 with its A5 chip. Now, as you can see, Skylanders is a game that adjusts itself to work with the iPad or the tablet that you have available. And of course, it does this by changing how the visuals look, how much is going on in the game, and also how much is going on in the background. So back down on that iPad 3, if we have a look here, you can see that things are pretty basic. There's a bit of cell shading, there's a bit of texture, but really it feels quite sort of flat and sedate. The amount of energy and detail going on, even in enemies and in these barrels as we blow them up, is more limited. Move on up to the iPad Mini 2 and you've got a bit more detail. There's some more textures, but greater sense of depth. The game is also running a bit smoother for us here as well, and it gives you a sort of a greater sense of speed. Move up to the iPad Air 2, however, and you've got a lot of detail. Now, this is on the A8 chip. You've got a lot of textures on the ground, but also a lot of textures in the background. As we move on to that next level, we can see Spitfire here, rendered in each of these different versions in different colours because that's the palettes they've got available. Now, the king of them all at the moment is that iPad Pro on its A9 chip. There's just a huge amount of detail here, as you can see. Are we going to blow up this pinata? And look at the detail in the background. You've got smoke coming off the back of the ship. You've got a whole load of detail of ships flying round. As we come down now to talk to Hugo and Callie, and we get our next part of the mission, we'll get these back in sync so you can see how they look together. But still, as we're doing that, the detail in the background is so different between these different versions. Now, what you don't see here is the amount of screen real estate. Now, the size of the screen of that iPad Pro is absolutely massive. In our family, it's starting to become the go-to experience rather than a console, in fact. The size of the screen, in fact, makes the game feel more like a console game than it does a tablet game because it's so fully featured. If you're quite close to it, the screen is absolutely massive. So we're going to move Spitfire on a bit further here and get into Hot Streak and have a look at what the vehicles look like. And again, each of these different vehicles is rendered quite differently according to how much horsepower you've got in each of the games. So as we have a look around this little beginning level, you can see the amount of detail in the background is quite different. And in particular, that flamethrower. The level of power and intensity of the flamethrower, how it looks, is quite impressive on the iPad Pro. To go back down to the iPad 3, and things are looking much more sedate. So let us know what you think of this comparison. Let us know which version you play. Do you play on console or do you play on tablet? We'd love to hear from you. And did you know about this nice little feature that you can swipe in from the right, look up some of your stats on your Skylanders, look up which ones you need to get next, and then switch back to playing a nice exclusive on that iPad Pro? We'll be here in the comments talking about it, working out which is the right version for us and which is the right value for money as well. Obviously, that's a big consideration too. That's what we've got time for this week on Family Gamer TV. We'll be back with more soon.